Has some really nice intro music. And a kind of a weird beginning.
Imagine a terrorist attack on our food supply. They contaminate food and send hundreds of thousands to hospitals and kill thousands. Such an attack would be a tragedy of massive proportions. The problem is, it happens every year. These shadowy terrorists are well known to government officials. They fly beneath our radar by making themselves nearly invisible. Who are these food poisoners? They are the over 200 different kinds of bacteria that creep into food and cause illness. Each year, the U.S. alone sees millions of cases of foodborne illness, most of unknown cause. The Center for Disease Control estimates 325,000 hospital admissions and 5,000 deaths each year. Some outbreaks of food poisoning make national news. A sick restaurant employee or food left to sit too long at a buffet table can infect hundreds. A food maker might recall a batch of potentially bad meat or processed food. These make headlines, but most food poisoning is never reported because most food-caused illness is not serious. Victims pass it off as a stomachache or that catch-all 24-hour flu. One little problem: 24-hour flu doesn't exist. Influenza doesn't cause diarrhea and vomiting. Symptoms of foodborne illness include upset stomach, diarrhea, vomiting, fatigue, or a fever. And don't assume it's the last thing you ate. Symptoms appear from 30 minutes to 3 weeks after eating contaminated food. In any case, seek medical help if the symptoms are severe. What is the leading cause of food poisoning? Not a food company cutting corners or a nasty germ. It's consumer ignorance. Many fear potential dangers from pesticides, genetically altered foods, hormones, or food additives, yet fail to protect against the very real and present risks of careless food handling. To illustrate, here are 6 cases of handling food. Are these folks playing it safe, or doing something for which they will be sorry? You make the call. Safe or sorry? A warning might be in order for our first example.
All right, safe or sorry?
Here's a no-brainer to start. Is this safe or sorry? Wait a minute. Who would make a sandwich on a toilet seat? This is more gross than sorry. Bacteria are nearly invisible. It takes about 30 trillion to make an ounce. Most are helpful. We need them to live. But the bad guys get all the attention. Sort of like people. Let's put our sandwich maker where he belongs. That's better. Less gross. But there might be more bacteria here than in the bathroom. A study by a university microbiologist found that in most homes, toilet seats had fewer germs than kitchen counters.
What?
Bacteria cause problems when they grow like crazy, and warm, moist sponges and dish towels make for better growing environments than toilet seats. Make sure your kitchen is not a breeding ground for bacteria. Use your food preparation surfaces only for food. Don't bring in germs from the mail, purses, money, or dirty laundry. Keep clean anything that touches food. Swiping a counter with a wet towel is not cleaning. Think of this as a bacteria relocation service. Use hot, soapy water to clean surfaces. Wiping them with disposable paper towels will prevent spreading bacteria to other foods. Keep dish towels clean. Wash them at least every 2 days in the hot cycle of the clothes washing machine. Hang them so they dry between uses. Bacteria love to grow in warm, moist sponges. The average sponge can host 7 billion bacteria. After using a sponge, you need to do more than squeeze out the dirty water. Rinse the sponge under hot water, then press out the water. Don't wring a sponge out, as that will damage the fibers. Store the sponge where it can air dry, not under the sink. Every time you run the dishwasher, place sponges in the utensil container. The heat and detergent will disinfect them. Wash cutting boards after each use. The heat in a dishwasher's hot cycle is enough to kill germs. Hot water from your faucet is not. If your board can't be placed in the dishwasher, clean it with a mix of 2 teaspoons of bleach to 1 quart of water. Bleach does kill germs, so using the same solution to wash the sink and counters gives added safety. Here's the second safe or sorry situation. This guy knows that undercooked meat might contain harmful bacteria. He's going to make sure none of those nasty critters survive. Safe or sorry? It's true that heat kills most dangerous bacteria. We'll say he's being safe, but anyone who eats his food is going to be sorry, unless they like extra crispy. Burgers can harbor a deadly strain of E. coli bacteria, but the risk is very small. Steaks or chops are animal muscle, and harmful bacteria does not tend to take up residence in muscle tissue. The more meat is processed, the more chances for contamination from contact with infected people or equipment. Ground meat is handled more, both before and after purchase. Cooks once assumed a burger that's brown in the middle is done, but USDA research reveals that 1 of every 4 hamburgers turns brown before it reaches a safe internal temperature. How much heat do you need to be safe? The magic number for burgers and pork chops is 160 degrees. Safe meat is all about heat. Frank's blowtorch probably ruined a good chicken leg, but he did ensure there was no live salmonella in that chicken. Salmonella is a bacteria that lives in the intestines of both humans and animals. You can't tell if a chicken has salmonella by looking at it. The solution? Assume it does. That's another rule of safe food handling. Assume raw food has possibly harmful bacteria, but don't panic. You have salmonella in you right now, and you've eaten a lot in your lifetime, even if you're a vegetarian. It causes problems only when you allow it to grow like crazy. Salmonella is a wimp when it comes to heat. It can't survive temperatures over 170 degrees. If you eat chicken raw, you stand a good chance of getting sick. But who eats raw chicken? High heat kills most but not all dangerous germs. That's why almost all milk sold is pasteurized. Pasteurizing uses heat to destroy potentially harmful bacteria. If you're camping and need to drink water from a stream, you should pasteurize it before drinking. In other words, boil it to kill bacteria. That's the same reason why you need to cook chicken to an internal temperature of at least 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Use an instant read food thermometer to be sure. Insert the thermometer into the thickest part of the meat. Don't let it touch a bone. You want to know the temperature of the meat, not the bones. And remember, for poultry, 170 degrees means it's safe, not that it's cooked to your taste. The USDA recommends different internal temperatures for different meats. Keep the numbers posted in your kitchen. Cooked chicken meat is white in color with clear juices. A pink color means the chicken is undercooked. But a touch of red around a bone is not blood from an undercooked bird. Birds today are so young that the bones are still porous, so cooking draws red pigment from the bone marrow. This small red stain is not blood and does not mean the chicken is undercooked or unsafe. One contaminant not destroyed by heat is mercury in some seafood. Mercury is present in all living things, but some fish accumulate extra mercury and are best avoided by women who are or might become pregnant, nursing mothers, and young children. Shark, swordfish, king mackerel, and sportfish fall into this category. In addition, both the EPA and FDA suggest pregnant women eat very little albacore tuna, which contains more mercury than canned chunk or light tuna. Our first 2 safe or sorry questions were easy, or at least strange. Number 3 is more demanding. See how many food handling miscues you can find in this meal preparation. Our cook here made 6 mistakes that could make her family sorry, not to mention sick. Sorry move number 1 is the hand washing. Always wash your hands before and after cooking or handling meat. But this is not a hand washing. This is a hand washing. Use warm or hot water and soap. Hands can transfer staph and other bacteria that are not destroyed by heat. Sorry move number 2 is rinsing the raw chicken in the sink. Why not wash the bird just like you would an apple or lettuce? Remember that cooking chicken will render the bacteria harmless. Using water might spread live bacteria to other foods in or near the sink, foods that we will eat raw. That's why you also need to ensure that drippings from meat never touch other foods. Be careful how you store a chicken in the refrigerator. Running a damp rag over the cutting board might look like a good idea, but it merely moves bacteria around. She might even be adding bacteria from the damp towel. She should use different surfaces for cutting meat and raw foods. Sorry moves 4 and 5 are using the same cutting board and knife for the chicken and the veggies. If the chicken has salmonella, some bacteria could now be on the cutting board and on the blade of the knife. The salmonella on the chicken will be killed in cooking, but bacteria left on the knife or cutting board could be transferred to the salad veggies that will be eaten raw. This is called cross-contamination.